probably this should be a wake-up call to all of us, that the moment a statement or a rumor or a piece of information leaves our phone to another platform, which could end up in another person's inbox or another person's domain, that could constitute publication. Now, we need to cross-check these things because you will be held liable if it so turns out that what you are sending out is false. And like you said, we receive and just share. We receive and share without any attempt to verify, to be sure that what we are sending across is indeed true or not. I don't think
if I'm arrested, I will say it is Bernard who sent it to me and I forwarded. I didn't read.
Well, then there you go. You did not even read to be sure that what you. So you should read and verify. Read and verify. I mean, it shouldn't. Some people are just fond of sharing. Sometimes they will even share that if you dial a certain number, your phone will explode. I don't know. Or yes, those things keep coming up.
Yeah.
And if you even look at some offenses relating to child pornography and how the publication is interpreted under those laws, we should be very careful when we are sharing certain things.
People receive these graphic stuff and they just send
it. Just push them. You see a child being molested, and then you only feel like sharing it. I mean, that child has some right of privacy. Or sometimes I even take exceptions to when some teachers record their pupils who probably get answers wrong and publish them. Those are, I mean, we are not digressing, but just so we all know what publication means in this context. We publish these things, and the effect is that the whole world gets to see them. The whole world will react to it. The person or subject matter of the things we share don't remain with us. People form opinions about it. It affects people's daily lives. It has potential of even affecting many more people than we think of.
Right. And in that respect, though, you may not be sharing false information because it may be true that you have received a video of a child being molested and you are sharing.
Yes.
It may be true, but in fact, in law, you are not supposed to do that. The child is supposed to come under protection. They are not supposed, and all of that. But under the Electronic Communications Act, will that be something like that? Will that be an offense where it says that a person who by means of electronic communication service knowingly sends a communication which is false or misleading and likely to prejudice the efficiency of life-saving service or to endanger the safety of any person, ship, aircraft, vessel, or vehicle commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction? Yeah. How is that also, does this also come in on this area of law?
Okay, so looking at the Electronic Communications Act, so that if you look at the application of the law per se, it seems to be for those that are regulated under that act. So basically radio stations, persons who come directly under the NCA and all. But if you look at the offense created, it gives it a more general application than the act, the application of the act itself is. So if you ask me, I think the provision in Section 208 is more specific to the general populace,
right,
than the provisions under the Electronic Communications Act.
All right.
But the ingredients basically are the same.
All right.
If you use a means, which other means, and in this case, they are being specific, electronic communication services. If you use those means to publish things which would end up having the same effect as we have under Section 208, you'll be committing an offense.
But there's a slight difference too there, because it asks misleading. So there's a difference between something being false and it being misleading.
Well, there will be a very little line there, if there's any difference.
All right.
Because if it is in 208, we are not saying that whatever you say must be true.
Mm-hmm.
We are saying that before you share it, just be sure that
it is not false.
It is not false. Whereas under the Electronic Communications Act, the provision says information which
is false or misleading.
False or misleading. So when we say you are misleading me or you are misleading somebody, it could have a bigger meaning than just it being false.
Right. Right.
You know.
Okay. So
now, something. If you look at the case of Edusei versus the Republic, it's a 1975 case.
Okay.
Now, this is somebody who wrote to Lasantihini.
Okay.
To say that some people were plotting to overthrow the government. And the police investigated the matter. And it found out that there was no basis whatsoever for that publication. The person was convicted under 208.
But you were saying, if I communicate to one person, that is not sufficient because the law says to the public. So if the person wrote to the Asantehene, that's not publication.
You see, when I said coming to whisper into your ear,
right,
as against shouting it out in the bus,
right,
I was just trying to create the distinction that, look, if somebody comes to whisper something into your ears, it could probably cause you fear. But to distinguish between cracking jokes and saying things that can lead to chaos in society.
And in that